Rescuers found the driver still in her car inside Larry Hansen's Town of Oconomowoc garage 2 months ago, and Larry pinned in by the wreckage.
Your life changes in an instant. You don't know how blessed you are and how devastating it could be.
Police say the car went off that ramp and across the grass, jumping a median and into this retaining wall here. You can still see the damage, slamming right into Larry's garage, pinning him against a car that was inside.
It could have been so much worse. I lost a leg. My left leg is pretty banged up with the ligaments and broken foot. My right leg gave its calf to save my left leg. They did a skin graft on that. But I could have lost both legs. I could have been paralyzed.
Larry just celebrated a 71st birthday he almost didn't see, crediting his wife Linda's care for allowing him to focus on the positive, while the driver, 48-year-old Jennifer Baranek of Neshota, is now charged with injuring him while driving drunk.
We knew this impending court date was coming up, and I knew we could give a speech or write something, and a judge would either, put it in the record or we could read it live. And I think it was about 3 weeks from the court date, her sentencing date. I wasn't sure how I felt. In the meantime, Linda had a retreat to go to.
Yep, actually it was last year at this retreat.
At this very time.
Right, and it was actually the first evening on Friday night after we retired to our cabins, went to bed. It was about 3 in the morning. The Lord woke me up, and he told me to get up. And he told me to grab my Bible. And I was first of all thinking, oh gosh, it's dark. I'm going to wake up the other ladies. But he said, no, you got to grab it. So here under my cot, I'm trying to go through my luggage and get my Bible out. So I did. It's just like every page I turned, and the passage I looked at was forgiveness. Next one, forgiveness. Next one, forgiveness. I'm getting the message, Lord. And then he said, and I was praying, and I said, Lord, you're telling me forgiveness. Is this what we're supposed to do for the girl that hit Larry? And he said, yes, you have to give her mercy and forgiveness. I knew that's what I needed to do, and I was really excited to go back and tell Larry that and it seemed like really weird because it was the first night. I thought, I'd have to spend more time with him that week. But I came back on Sunday right after the
excited.
retreat.
Jim texted me. She says, I'm excited. I know what we have to do.
And I kind of shared it with some of the girls at our table at the retreat. And they said, just to kind of confirm, do you think, this is right? And they go, yeah, that's from the Lord. That's from the Lord. So I knew I had to go back and do that. So I shared it with him when I returned from retreat on Sunday. And we actually had called the gal on Monday. He agreed and said that's where her heart.
It opened up, and it made me clear. I mean, I agreed with her. I said, excellent, fantastic, because that's what I guess I was looking for, and the Lord worked that through Linda to help me. So I knew what we had to do. When she told me that, it made me just at peace with the whole thing. They had a meeting about this, and they kind of went back and forth a little bit. So she said, no, the judge is not going to go for this, and we're certainly not going to recommend any leniency.
So then we had to prepare for court. We had an opportunity to each speak, and we could each do it individually. And
we were so blessed that Margo decided to come with us. I mean, that was awesome. I'm serious. Because it's kind of scary. You're going to read this in court. You've got somebody's life in your hands, more or less. So here again, it's another awesome responsibility. So you got to take that serious, and we did. And you're still nervous about it. How is it going to be? I was still nervous on reading it. Not that I'm afraid to read, but just reading that, I guess, to the court. And I knew at the end I was going to get choked up, and I did a little bit. But we asked the judge to forgive her and to go light on the sentence. We didn't want her to go to prison. We knew she would probably go to jail. The parole agent told us that, and they were going to recommend that whether we wanted it or not. But she was going to recommend not going to prison, which is what we wanted, because she was facing, depending, 5 to 8 years in prison, Techita, hard time, locked up that whole time, no parole. So this was her first DWI, and I guess I was at peace with that, and I guess mainly because I knew she didn't try to do it, and I just am so blessed. And the cinder block wall to go through, and I know the Lord protected me, because there's no way you can go through a cinder block wall without being squished. I mean, let's get real. The Lord gave me a second chance through this accident, and in other times too, but the Lord gave me a second chance, and I thought she should have the same thing.
This is today's TMJ4, live at 5.
Right now at 5, the surprising reason a woman who pleaded no contest in a drunk driving accident will not go to prison.
Mercy versus disdain. Larry Hansen lost one of his legs to a drunk driver, but today he did something astonishing. Some may even think unthinkable in court. He wanted the judge to give the driver a second chance.
He lost his leg because of her, but tonight he is showing mercy. A Waukesha County man who lost his leg after a drunk driver crashed into his home last year told the judge today he did not want that woman to go to prison. Larry Hansen said he forgives Jennifer Yeager-Bernarek. The judge then sentenced her to a year in jail and 6.5 years probation.
She knows she made a bad decision, and that there are consequences. So, I feel bad for her. I really, really do. Like I said, she didn't try to do this, and she's got a tough road ahead of her.
I'm disgusted with myself for what I have taken away from you and caused.
This was Yeager-Berarek's first OWI. Her family says she turned to alcohol following her son's suicide.
It was very, very emotional in the courtroom. The Channel 4, one of the media was there, cameraman, next to me, and he's sniffling, and I didn't want to look at him because he was, choked up. The reporters that were there, they interviewed us later, and, everybody was pretty amazed, but it was the right thing to do.
Well, and you could just tell God moving in the courtroom. Oh my goodness, I mean, even now talking about it, I guess goosebumps.
So I guess the one thing I would hope that people can take away from us and what we're saying here would be to trust the Lord. You never know what's going to happen. I've got a saying, in a heartbeat, in an instant, your life can change. And many times it does. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's little things, and I guess forgiveness of all things, and simple things and complex things.
People look at our lives. So I want it to be in step so that what I do and what people see that, I'm not human, I'm going to fall or do something wrong, but that not only what I talk, but my walk is in line with somebody who's just looking to love Jesus.